Mario Chalmers played for a decade in the NBA, most of it with the Heat. NBA champ, most outstanding player with Kansas. So I went and watched the movie Mario the other day. I went and watched Air Movie. So it's really good. I thought it was spectacular, and it told the story. It really showed how valuable Michael Jordan's mother was, and I don't think she's ever been given quite the love and the credit behind the scenes for all she's done. Now I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you made a comment the other day that Michael was feared and LeBron wasn't. So my first takeaway is, did anybody from LeBron's camp, because you know LeBron very well, did anybody from the camp contact you?
No, nobody contacted me. I think they pretty much understood what I was trying to say.
So tell us again, what were you trying? What? Explain it for the audience that didn't hear it.
Basically, I was saying I got asked the question, who is my GOAT? And I was basically saying Michael Jordan was my GOAT, and I was giving reasons. And if you go back, for me being around a lot of older guys, being around the big three, playing with those guys and hearing different stories, you hear the stories of Michael Jordan and how people had a different fear or have an uneasy feeling of going against him. And what I was basically saying, like for Bron, when Bron left Cleveland, he was a villain. Like everybody hated Bron. Everybody didn't respect him because he made that decision. The whole world was against him. So being the whole world against him, I don't think anybody feared him in that moment because everybody nitpicked at the little things that he wasn't doing, wasn't winning championships, wasn't getting to the finals, wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. So everybody was nitpicking what he wasn't doing. So everybody knew what he wasn't doing. So when he got to Miami and it was a different Bron, different beast, he got past the Dallas series that everybody killed him for. Then he won the first one against OKC, won the second one against San Antonio. Everybody started getting on his side again and being Bron fans and liking him. But from my experience being next to him, people didn't fear him because people didn't like him. Players didn't like him. Players was mad because he left Cleveland and came to Miami and started the super team that everybody called it. So by not going into the depth of like I just did, everybody took that and ran with it. So that's what I was meaning when I said players don't really fear Bron back in my days because he wasn't liked.
Let me throw this at you though. I'm old enough that I watched Jordan live. Michael had to be, he came into the league, you could hand check. The Pistons were tackling him. The Celtics were tackling him. Back then, everybody fought for a small piece of the pie. Now, reserves get rich. That the world's changed, Mario. Everybody gets money. Everybody gets money. So people aren't as vindictive. LeBron's got kind of a magic vibe. Hey, we're all getting rich here. Let's be. So that generationally, Michael grew up in a time you had to fight. Michael was underpaid for a decade. And could I make the argument that basketball was different 20 years ago? It wasn't as skilled. It was more of a fighter's. Dr. J fought, Bird fought, Barkley fought. Guys were getting into fights all the time. And that LeBron's just a product of his generation. Is that fair?
That's definitely fair because Bron's a player that's grown with different generations. He's been in the NBA when it was a post-man's game, a big man's game. He's been in the NBA where it's been mostly three-pointers. And, he's adapting to everything, so you can never take that away from him. It's just we never seen Jordan have to adapt to the three-point shot because it wasn't there. It's different eras, like you said. Yeah. Even before Jordan, Cedric Henderson played in the game with a neck brace. Like, you would never see anybody in the NBA playing a neck brace right now. There's no point. It's not that important right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not a life and death situation or nothing like that. So there's definitely different eras and there's definitely different generations. So that's the biggest thing. Like, nobody talks about that part. They do, but they don't stick with that part. And that's the biggest thing. It's just different generations, different mindsets, different styles of play.
You had Bill Self and Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley. You had really great coaching in your life. And it's hard. And you came from a very stable program in Kansas. Then you went to a very stable organization. I see the Ja Morant situation, and it's hard. Some kids come from, most of you guys don't come. Very few of us ever grew up with money. I didn't grow up with money. But for the Ja Morant situation, I've seen this happen all over sports where you become a star, the money, the girls, the fame. When you watch Ja Morant, do you feel bad for him? Would you punish him? What do you do? I mean, you probably had at least one teammate in your college or pro career who just went sideways. He got sucked into a bad group. You probably had one of those in your life. I mean, how do you feel about Ja?
I'm a big Ja fan. I just think, he got kind of a bad situation. He made a mistake. Like he said, he went to Florida to do his counseling to help get his mind right. So he's doing the steps to show you that he's not that type of kid or type of player that, he's being portrayed as. He just made an honest mistake, something he's got to, not do it again going forward and, get back and focus on the game of basketball.
Yeah. So when you go back to your Miami days and Spoelstra, I've said I think they're the dark horse in the playoffs. Go back to those Miami days. And I watched multiple times I watched that team live. I said at the time I thought it was one of the smartest teams I ever saw. You guys didn't have great size. I think Dwayne Wade and LeBron's games, the chemistry wasn't perfect. It wasn't like a Kobe Shaq, a big a wing. When you were on that team, which we consider with the Warriors the last dynasties in this league, did you know virtually every night, Mario, you went on the floor that you guys were the better team? What was it like to be part of the Heatles for 4 years?
We definitely knew that we had the better team, the better talent, but we knew we was going to get everybody's best shot every night, and that's one thing you can't take lightly. When teams come in with that type of hunger, any little mistake, they can capitalize on and go on a run and, get the momentum. So for us, we knew that we was the better team. We had, the better talent. We just knew that we had to put it together for a whole game and, keep it together.
It was D-Wade City, and then LeBron suddenly had the ball in his hands a lot. And I always credited D-Wade. A lot of guys would have struggled with that. But very early on, D-Wade, smart dude, is like, you know what, man? LeBron's unbelievable. He's going to have the ball a lot. Go back to those teams. You're a guard. Sometimes playing with LeBron can be difficult because he's a 6'9.5" dude with the rock. Right? That's your ball. That's D-Wade's ball. Right. Was it hard for you to adjust sometimes to LeBron? You'd always had the ball in your hands.
At times it was hard to adjust, but, I kind of played that role in college where I was kind of off the ball, kind of a scorer, being ready to shoot. So I was kind of used to that, being in that position. There's definitely moments where I wanted to handle the ball and be that point guard where I could show different things. But, you got to do what you got to do to win. And, with Brian handling the ball and being in that position, him making the plays, it was easy just for us to flow like that and keep it going.
Finally, when obviously I've seen this with like Russell Wilson in the NFL. There's other guys, LeBron, Tom Brady, where they're really dedicated to their nutrition and working out. Are you surprised at all that LeBron, he's dinged up a little, but he's still this good? Are you ever look at it and go, how? I mean, because you played a decade in this league. He's going on year, 2021?
I'm not. Because you see what he does. Well, I've seen what he does off the court. And, the type of treatment, type of way he take care of his body. Wouldn't be surprised if he could play another 5-6 years the way he does it. He's just getting constant treatment. He's never had a real major injury, and that's a big thing. Once you don't have a major injury like that and you're getting on up there, it's easy to keep going as long as you're maintaining his body. The game's less physical, so he's taking less hits that he was back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's definitely working in his favor.
By the way, did anybody from Michael Jordan's camp reach out and say you the man for saying that?
Nah, I didn't hear from anybody. Everybody heard from his fans. So that was a funny thing. My Twitter and Instagram was going crazy yesterday. So
yes, it was. Mario Chalmers, his Kansas Jayhawks won a title last year, got bounced this year. They'll be back. We can assure you that. Mario, good seeing you. 2-time NBA champ. Thanks, man. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.